Hello everybody and welcome. This is Bo, and in this episode I'm going to install two more 100 watt solar panels on the roof in addition to the two that we already have, making it total of 400 watts of solar charging, just to make sure that we have a faster charge, because we are using the induction stove, the microwave, and the teapot. Those are the high voltage equipments that we have in here. And in addition to the solar panel, we can also hook up from the outside sources to here, and also the engine alternator charging while we're driving. So just to make sure we have plenty of charging sources. And with that being said, let's get started. Right now I have this Victron MPPT 30 amps of charge controller, which I do not need to upgrade this with the four panels. They should handle that, which is good. And let's see with the two panels on the roof and with all these lights being on, let's see what's the status. Okay, so right now we are at 31 watts from the solar, charging at 1.6 amps per hour. Let's see tomorrow at the same time with the four panels, what's the difference. Before we start, we have to disconnect everything from the charge controller and from the batteries. I'm using Renogy solar panels, which you have a negative and one positive wire right here. And you are going to need, since there are four panels, you are going to need the parallel connectors like this, okay, which is one for each panel, positive and a negative, and comes out to this side, the positive and a negative. And then you will need, I'm using 10 gauge positive and negative solar wires, which connect from here into your charge controller. And then you will need, between the panels and the charge controller, you're going to put one fuse, inline fuse on this side. I'm going to use a 30 amp fuse. And then after the charge controller, between the battery and the charge controller, I'm going to put another inline fuse, 30 amp inline fuse in between as well. You're going to need a few of these. The terminal connector for connecting to your battery. Of course, I'll list all these items that I'm using on the link below. The width of the panel is about 19.5, and the width of the van, this is the Sprinter van, from one rail to the other rail is about 52 inches. So I have enough room to put them parallel, two front and two in the back. This is kind of my drawing here. This is the front of the car. So two panels, my parallel connection right here, which is these wires right here, and then with these running from here along the rail, and it goes into the junction box, and then comes out and goes inside the car, inside the van on the back side, with a fuse inside, and then the controller, and then from there goes to the batteries. Okay, I removed the two existing panels and I brought them down. Now I need to drill the holes through the existing. Hey, calm down. Sorry about that. So to drill the holes on the frames and to match these existing fittings here, and then we'll bring it all back up. So we're gonna drill the holes, mark the holes and pre-drill them on the frame of the panel to fit these stainless steel hardwares, and then we'll bring them back up. To drill these holes, I want to make sure I put a piece of wood underneath that frame and drill it so that I'm not accidentally drilled through the panel. Perfect. On each side I'm using two 1/4. This is an inch long stainless steel bolt, so they're not going anywhere. Also, what I want to mention that these two panels are smaller than the first two as far as size, but the power ratings is exactly the same. So when you add panels, you want to make sure they are the same power ratings. Also, the wiring that I'm using up there, this is the marine grade wire. It's UV, oil, water resistance. This is for my lighting fixture up there, my spotlights. And also you want to use the UV resistant tie wraps as well up there. Once these panels are put under the sun, they are already producing power. So you don't want to connect anything until you're ready to do so. Oh, one more thing. Before you tighten all the screws, make sure your wires are outside, accessible. Don't do it like me. I tighten everything and the wires are under panels. Okay, all my fittings are tightened. I have about an inch gap underneath the panels, which is good, low profile. Now it's time to hook up the wires. Some panels, they come with red and black wire, so it's easily to identify between the positive and negatives. Some of them have two black wires, but you can this one right here, connector right here, there's a red right here indicates, and also there's a plus sign right here. You know it's a positive. And we're gonna try to tie everything. When it's done, tie everything to the frame. So you want it to be clear from the bottom as much as possible, so that there's good airflow or once in a while you need to clean. You need to make sure the water flows through it and clean out all the dust and everything underneath. So what I'm going to do is I gather all the negative side of the wires, okay, all my negatives. Sorry about the noise, there's a blimp flying over my head. Okay, so my negative, which is matching with this side, this one here, okay, all you have to do push until you hear that snap. These are watertight connections, so you don't need to put any seals or tape over it. Whoa. Really tight. There. Alright, you can do the same. You do the same on the other side. And now you have one single negative and it's going to be one positive on this side. That's where your single wire is going to go. Red to the positive and then this to the negative. For the mounting hardware, I'm using 1-inch stainless steel flat washer here. Just run it through the rail. The wires are already UV resistant, but I just want to use this flex tubes here just to give it a cleaner look. Once everything is aligned, make sure you tighten each bolt before you move to the next one, in case you forget. You never want to forget tighten these bolts. Since I have two wires going through that same hole, I'm marking this one with R so I know it's for the rear spotlights. Here, all the wires coming through here, and then I will have two spotlights in the back, which two from panels, two from the this one is from the side spotlight, and this is going to be the rear spotlight. So I have total of 4 wires coming through junction box here, and it's gonna, all of them will go into here. So Sprinter van has pre-drill holes. There are 2 pre-drill holes here, one larger and this is a smaller one. My 4 wires will fit in here. This is only plastic, you can just drill through it, and then you can get it from the inside. Here's a look from the inside. You can see it's coming through there, and it's gonna go inside this frame here, into here, and out into my controller. Then I apply the sealant around the wires to make sure that there is no hole, there's no water access to it, and then slide this over it. And since this is not level, I'm going to apply this putty tape to make it level, and then over the edge of the junction box here, I'm going to apply the self leveling sealant to cover around it. just to make sure there's no place for the water to get in. Well, good morning, you guys. I left this to be cured overnight. It's looking good right now. I have not connected the wires from the panels yet until I connect all the batteries and the fuses. I also plan to put security lights on all corners for extra security, and also when we are at camping, we can use them to light up the spots. I'm using these 4 inches. These are 60 watts spot and flood lights. Okay, so this is spot in the front and also have the side LEDs. These are super bright. These waterproof connectors are great ideas for this kind of applications. Here are my cables coming from the panels from the top before they go into the controller. I'm gonna put this is 30 amp resettable fuse. It's easy to use in case it ever got blown out. I can just reset it, so I don't have to deal with looking for the fuse to replace. Also, it's gonna be one coming in and one going to the batteries. I also don't want to put it somewhere hiding inside the frame here, because it's easy for troubleshooting, and since this is coming straight from the panel right here, I don't have any other place to hide it. Ideally, I don't want to expose it over here. It just kind of look ugly, but oh well. This 10 gauge wire fits nicely with the 30 amp fuse. Look at that. Well, looks like we're not gonna test any time soon because there's no sun to be found today. I really like these terminal insulation here. They bond really well. They come with glue. Okay, you can see right here. Super strong. I'm using copper strand flexible wires here. Really flexible. They're really easy to use around the corners. So from the controller to the batteries, this is what I'm using. Alright, first I hooked up these battery wires, the wires from the battery first to the controller, and then these are the wires from the panels. I got them all hooked up. Now it's time to go on to the roof and plug in the 2 wires from the panels and wait for the sun to come up, and we take the measurement. Alright everybody, finally there's a sun to test our panels. Let's do a quick rundown on top here. So 4 solar panels, 100 watts each. I also added extra security light on all corners of the car. Okay, parallel connections of the panel running on the passenger side here. Okay, there's a 4 panels. Cables running to the back. Okay, 2 more spotlights here, one pointing to the side and one to the back, and on the opposite side, okay, one pointing to the right and to the back, and one's to the driver's side. Cables coming in here, my junction box, and it goes inside. Coming out through here, goes in here, and then on this side going to the battery. So I have 1 fuse on each side. This is coming from the panels and this is going to the battery. All right, boiled eggs, anybody? Just kidding. So, well, the egg's not kidding. It's being boiled. The battery was full, and it's not doing any charging. So I am trying to drain down a little bit by using the induction stove here. Boiled egg, why not? I guess I was not kidding about boiling eggs. Alright, let's see what we have. Holy cow, 150 watts at between 9 to 10 amps an hour. That's a good charging rate. Because if you're using these lights, all the LED lights, they draw about, the most is 4 to 8 amps per hour, not even. And the induction stove was drawing around 8 amps an hour. So with all these between 9 and 10 amps per hour on a overcast day like this, I think we're doing pretty good. I can't wait until the full sunlight. Okay, I think this is great. All right, that's it, everybody, for this episode. I hope you enjoy watching it and learn something from it. If you're planning on installing your own solar panels, this van is ready. It got more power now. I'm really excited to take it back on the road. Please subscribe so that you can follow along with us on our adventure this coming summer, winter or spring, whatever, whenever. Just go. Alright? Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. It's time to eat more eggs.